Number 1. It is a God-centered relationship. This is the first way God describes a godly relationship. A godly relationship is one in which God is at the center of it. It is the presence of God in a relationship that makes it a relationship godly. If God is taken out of a relationship, all that will be left is a union that is clueless and will soon crash. A God-centered relationship is a love triangle between God, you, and your partner. God should be at the top of that triangle. A God-centered relationship is a selfless one, and it is regarded as sacred and should be treated with utmost care and respect. Adam and Eve were the first couples recorded in history, and there is a whole lot to learn from their relationship. A careful study of how their relationship began will give us a guide on how to go about a godly relationship. Their relationship was God-centered. You might be wondering how. In the book of Genesis, it was recorded that God always comes to the garden in the cool of the evening to fellowship with Adam and Eve. The couple had a relationship with God. They fellowship with Him. That proves that God was at the center of their relationship. A godly relationship acknowledges God and hosts His presence. God desires to be involved in the life of all of His children. He also wants to be actively involved in their relationships. A relationship outside of God is far from being godly. A godly relationship is one where God is a priority and not just an option. It is the union of two imperfect beings involving one supreme being. Number 2. It is love-ruled. There are various definitions of love out there. Some say it is a feeling of affection or butterflies in the belly. All these are not accurate definitions of love. The truth is that love is beyond feelings. It is more than emotion. There is a whole lot more to love than emotions. Love involves action. As stated earlier, God has clearly defined all that we need to know about relationships and marriage. He did not leave us to guess what love means. He has clearly defined it for us and also gave us a template. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, love was thoroughly explained. Love is patient and kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts hopes, and always perseveres. In a godly relationship, the listed characteristics of love are found in it. A godly relationship is ruled by selfless love, a God kind of love. That is why the Bible says, husbands should love their wives the same way Christ has loved the church and gave His life for it. The love in a godly relationship is like a triangle where Christ is at the top, meaning Christ is the source and the man and woman are at the receiving ends below on the two corners, meaning both of them are recipients of the love of Christ. Before the couple begins to love each other, they must first receive love from Christ, who is the source. The only way a man can fully love a woman, according to the biblical perspective stated earlier, is if the man receives love from Christ, the source of love. Christ has loved us with an everlasting love. The ultimate proof of this was demonstrated on the cross. Christ is love, because He is proof of God's love for mankind. God used Christ to show His love for us. Therefore, a couple should look to Christ to know how to love each other. A godly relationship is ruled by sacrificial love. Number 3. It is equally yoked. The Bible instructs believers not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. What greater way can one be unequally yoked with an unbeliever than marriage? To be unequally yoked means two will be living life in opposite directions, so the relationship cannot go in a straight line. There can be no peace, no rest. The work is hard as a result, and the yoke is heavy. The relationship between a Christian and unbeliever will probably lead to a fracture of some kind. The relationship might break up because the two parties live according to different worldviews. If they end up getting married, a ripple effect is set in motion affecting children, friends, and extended family. Alternatively, the influence of an unbeliever could fracture the relationship between God and the believing partner. To avoid all of these issues, God does not want His children to get into romantic relationships with unbelievers. A godly relationship involves two individuals that are devout children of God. The partners must be Christian. Number 4. It is sexual immorality free. A godly relationship is an affair between two Christians who flee from sexual immorality. Sexual immorality is any sexual activity that happens outside of marriage. This includes adultery or infidelity and fornication, premarital or extramarital sex. All of these actions are off limits for those who are children of God. Instead, they should learn to control their own body in holiness and honor. In a godly relationship, the bed is kept undefiled until they are joined in holy matrimony. Your body is the temple of God. Therefore, you must not defile that temple by sexual immorality in a romantic relationship. Sexual immorality sets a shaky foundation for marriage. Strong marriages are built on a solid foundation. Christ, of course, is the basis for any good and faith-filled beginning. But as we build together with love, good communication, trust, and other attributes, we will build a godly relationship. Sexual immorality destroys godly relationships. Number 5. There is companionship. In a godly relationship, there is companionship. When God wanted to create Eve for Adam, He made a statement that it is not good for a man to be alone. That means companionship is one of the primary reasons God established the institution of marriage. He did not want man to be lonely, so He made him a companion that is suitable for him. Companionship is a feeling of fellowship and friendship. Friendship is a vital part of a godly relationship. Partners should be friends. A relationship that begins with friendship indeed tends to last longer than a relationship where partners are not friends. Friendship and companionship are part of God's design for a godly relationship. Effective communication is one of the ways of building friendships with your partner. Trust also has a major role to play. God created marriage to be a relationship of companionship. God designed husband and wife in such a way that they meet the needs of each other. The foundation of this companionship is living faithfully before God, and it is made better by doing things together. In conclusion, a godly relationship glorifies God. The purpose of man is to worship God. A godly relationship also fulfills this purpose. It serves as worship to God. Any relationship that does not reverence God in any way cannot be described as godly. You can take a moment to examine your relationship to see if it is godly according to God's terms. God's presence, love, equal looking, abstinence from sexual immorality, and companionship makes up a godly relationship.